find a little taste.
It's the card game, Mary Agatha. Mary Thomas and Mary Martin are playing gin. The card game.
Oh. I've nearly finished my new sampler. I'm making it for Reverend Mother. How does it look, Mary Margaret?
Oh dear. I'm afraid you're going to have to take out the O. It looks like an A. It says, the Lord works in mysterious ways.
Huh. It does? Silly me. I don't know where my mind's been lately.
That's a question that confounds us all. Well, sisters, I'm happy to inform you that the blizzard is about to pass over.
It's Passover? Already? I don't even remember celebrating Christmas.
Give me strength.
It won't be Christmas for 2 more weeks, Mary Agatha. Don't you remember the other sisters took the van and drove into town this morning to shop for gifts?
That's right. But I've already made all your gifts.
We know. You're our Sister Santa Claus. We always look forward to the lovely new pot owners you make for us each year.
But you can't see them till Christmas. I hid them really well. I don't even recall where I put them.
As usual, we'll help you find them.
Again. You make the holidays especially festive, sister. It's like combining Christmas with an Easter egg hunt.
Speaking of Easter, that's the holiday we celebrate, Mary Agatha. The nice Jewish ladies we see sometimes at the bingo barn in Buffalo, they're the ones who celebrate Passover. You do know the difference between us, don't you?
Of course, dear. We're nuns, they're not.
Close enough.
Shouldn't the other sisters be here soon? It must be almost time for Vespers.
Sister Mariam Fabiola called Reverend Mother hours ago, sister, and said the highway's impassable. They're having to stay overnight at a motel in town.
The Red Lantern Motel. We had better say extra prayers for them.
Don't remind me. I suppose it can't be helped. The storm must have dropped at least another 2 feet of snow on the ground.
I could use some help here, Mother. I only got 2 vans.
Thank you, Herman. I feel better having a supply of firewood laid in case the electricity should go out.
Surprised it ain't already. The lines down the road are encumbered tonight.
Oh my!
Don't worry, sister. There's axes all over this house. Miles of trees out there.
We're grateful you were able to make the drive into town this afternoon, Herman.
It weren't easy. It was like driving through a big feather pillow with 6 big flakes and all. But it's my job. When Mr. Beckett was alive and hired me to come to this place to do chores on the weekends, I told him I'd be here. Come hell or high water. Begging your pardon. And I haven't missed a weekend yet.
We appreciate your loyalty, Herman.
You're the boss now, Mother. Mr. Beckett died and left his place to the church to be your new convent. You got me as part of the bargain.
We know.
Well, that ought to hold me for now. I'm heading back to my rooms over the garage.
Good night, then.
Yeah.
We interrupt this program of sacred music for a special bulletin. The police department has announced that the serial killer, known as the Mary Murderer, has struck again.
Oh no.
According to reports, less than an hour ago, a waitress at the Chat 2 Diner in a bus stop near Rochester, New York, was found strangled and hidden under a snow drift behind the building. The victim, who had the name Mary stitched on the pocket of her uniform, was identified as Mary Lester, age 26, of Rochester. The police state that the manner by which she was murdered is consistent with the murders of 10 other women named Mary, which occurred in Manhattan over the last 7 months. They suspect the killer they seek, dubbed the Mary Murderer by the media, has left the city and is possibly fleeing for the Canadian border. All women named Mary are warned to avoid contact with strangers at all costs. We will bring you further information as it becomes available. And now, we return to our regularly scheduled program.
How horrible.
You said it, sister.
Did he say something about me? My name is Mary.
No, sister. Forget all about it.
That shouldn't be a problem.
We needn't worry. We're miles from the highway. We never have a visitor.
Hello? Is anybody there?
We have a visitor.
Oh, look.
It looks like, I think it's a group of people.
They're coming down the driveway.
Maybe
It's carolers.
joy to the world.
Carolers?
In this weather, their lips would turn blue and fall off.
Thank you for that very vivid description, Mary Thomas. I suspect they're travelers who have lost their way in the blizzard. You had better rescue them, Herman, and bring them inside.
I might have known you'd find a reason to send me back out into that mess again.
Thank you, Herman.
Yeah.
We're having callers. I haven't had a caller since I was a young girl. Do you think I should go freshen up my makeup?
You're not wearing any makeup, Mary Agatha. You haven't worn makeup in over 50 years since you took your vows.
Oh, I forgot. I could put on some chapstick, though.
You don't need anything, sister. You have a perfectly lovely face.
Thank you, dear.
Herman's just about to reach them. They should be here in a few minutes.
It looks like quite a crowd.
They'll have to stay the night, of course, whoever they are.
They can sleep in the other sister's room since they'll be staying out of town tonight.
At the Red Lantern.
You're right, Mary Margaret. The vacant rooms will provide suitable accommodations for the strangers. Mary Martin, Mary Thomas, would you see that the rooms have a supply of fresh bed linens and blankets?
Yes, of course, Reverend Mother.
Mary Margaret, our guests will no doubt be very cold and tired. I'm sure they would appreciate some hot coffee and perhaps something to eat.
I'd be glad to prepare it for them, Reverend Mother.
Thank you. I thought you might.
What can I do, Reverend Mother?
I'm working on it.
Oh, I know. I could get the vacuum cleaner and run it over the carpet.
I don't think so, Mary Agatha. The last time you vacuumed, the cat disappeared. Why don't you just wait here and help me greet our guests?
All right.
This way.
Come in, come in.
Yeah.
Quickly, quickly.
Well, here they be, Mother. Nobody but a bunch of fools would be out walking in this weather.
That'll do, Herman. Welcome to St. Mary's Convent. I'm the Right Reverend Mother Mary Cecilia.
And I, Mary Agatha. Joy to the
Save it,
world.
sister. In 2 weeks you can carol to your heart's content. Right now we need to meet our guests. Herman, the sisters are checking the spare bedrooms. Would you tell them how many rooms we'll be needing?
Yeah, you're the boss, Mother.
Please excuse your handyman's deplorable manners.
Does he always act like that?
No, you caught him in a good mood. And you are?
Oh, Willard Patterson, ma'am. I mean, Mother. Well, I was driving these folks from Manhattan to Buffalo when a bunch of deer ran out in front of us. It was snowing so hard I almost didn't see them. And when I hit the brakes, we skidded onto the shoulder and got stuck.
If it hadn't been for Mr. McDougal, we would have frozen to death out there. When the snow began to let up, he noticed telephone poles leading from the highway to your convent. We followed them here. I'm Mary Bishop.
Oh my, your holiness.
Oh no, sister. I'm not a bishop. That's just my name. My father's a bishop.
Your father must belong to a very liberal order.
I'll explain later. Maybe I should have sent you to the kitchen to help Mary Margaret. Why don't you go now and give her a hand?
All right, Reverend Mother. I look forward to meeting the rest of you later. We see so few people at this convent, except each other, of course. I meant real people. Excuse me.
You'll have to make allowances for Sister Mary Agatha. She gets a little confused. Often, whenever she's awake. You're Mary Bishop?
Yes, Mother. I'm a student at St. Mary's College. I was on my way to spend Christmas break in Buffalo with my parents.
Apparently the storm has passed. Hopefully we'll be able to call a tow truck and get you back on your way.
We'd better, because I'm supposed to present a lecture on Shaster's Canterbury Tales at the University of Toronto tomorrow night. I'm David Lewis, Reverend Mother. I teach English literature at St. Mary's. Miss Bishop happens to be one of my students. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Mr. Lewis, or is it Doctor?
It's Doctor, but either will be fine. When I make my speech tomorrow, in honor of your hospitality, I will make sure to touch upon the nun's tale.
Gently, I hope. As I recall, some of Mr. Chaucer's stories are a bit risque. And the observant gentleman who followed the phone lines to our humble convent is Mr. McDougal.
Patrick McDougal, Reverend Mother.
That sounds like a good Irish name. Irish Catholic.
Yes, I was brought up in the church, but excuse me, all the frost might fire if you don't mind.
I'd like to thank you too, Reverend Mother. Mary Adams.
My goodness, this place is simply crawling with Mary. What'd you name the dog, Mary? Fido.
We don't have a dog, but you're right about our abundance of Marys, especially most of the sisters are here. Most of our order is stranded tonight as well, in Buffalo. We all took the first name of Mary in deference to the Holy Mother.
And your second name's in honor of a saint.
Indeed, Mrs.
Miss Evans, Laura Evans. I was Mary Apollonia before I left the sisterhood a number of years ago.
You're an ex-nun?
A former nun, yes.
How interesting. I would love to speak with you about it later.
If you'd like, Reverend Mother.
And who might you be?
You don't know?
Should I?
I'm Erica Kincaid, the actress. Ugh, I have my own television series, Mary, Quite Contrary. I too am a Mary, in a sense. That's cool.
I'm afraid we don't own a TV set, Miss Kincaid. Television has become much too worldly for our tastes.
I know what you mean. A lot of it's just plain trash. Not my show, of course. I insist that my writers adhere to very high standards.
I'm glad to hear it.
In fact, I'm on my way to Toronto to star in the film version of Joan of Arc for the Hallmark Hall of Fame. Well, my show's on hiatus for the holidays. I want my fans to see me in a serious drama for a change. And I've always had the burning desire to play St. Joan.
It's nice to know that her story will be offered to the viewing public.
Yes, well, I was to fly up, but then the storm closed down the airport, so I was forced to travel by bus. I must make it to the studio by tomorrow, or my filming schedule will be shot to pieces.
I'll do my best to get us back on the road, Miss Kincaid.
I sure hope you succeed. If not, Greyhound will find itself in a lawsuit for $10 million.
Yes.
Well, as long as they don't take it out of my salary. Just kidding.
I'm gonna get to Toronto too, man. Like, urgently. My flight was grounded too, and my band's got a major gig tomorrow night.
A gig? May I ask what a gig is?
It's like a, you know, a thing.
He means an engagement, a performance.
Yeah, like that.
I see. I assume you're a musician?
Right on, Rev. My group, Breaking Bones, has a single in the top 10. Kill Me with a Kiss. Boo! I never knew love could be like this! Come on, baby! Kill me with a kiss!
How romantic.
The sisters told me to tell you the rooms are ready. The rooms are ready.
Very good. Since most of our orders stranded tonight in Buffalo, as I mentioned, I'm able to offer you their rooms for the night. Herman will show you where they are. Once you've settled in, Sister Mary Margaret is preparing hot coffee and refreshments in the dining room.
All right, down this hall.
Thank you so much, Mama.
Thank you, Rev.
Thank you. Oh, thanks. I'm sorry, I don't believe I caught your name.
Sorry, Reverend Mother. I'm Jerome Stacy.
And what do you do, Mr. Stacy?
I'm a writer for the New York Times.
A reporter? Well, I don't remember seeing your byline in the paper.
Oh, no, I don't report. I have a column. It's a... excuse me.
A writer who doesn't like seeing his name in the print. How odd.
Sister Mary Martin is assigning our guests to their rooms. Is there anything else I can do, Reverend Mother?
Not at the moment.
The refreshments are ready! Where'd everybody go?
They went to their rooms. They'll be back shortly.
Oh, good.
You don't need the party hat and noisemaker, Mary Agatha. It isn't anyone's birthday.
Well, you never know. Mary Margaret wondered how many cups and saucers to put out, but I didn't think to count the guests.
Herman said that there were 9 guests.
And us. I'll tell her if you'll direct everyone to the dining room.
Yes, Reverend Mother.
And keep an eye out for you-know-who.
Sister Social Director. Definitely Reverend Mother.
Well then.
Why don't you sit and work on your sampler, Mary Agatha, while I put the game away?
All right, sister.
We can go to the kitchen later and get some coffee.
Oh, I don't want any. Why not? Well, Mary Margaret said she was making decaf coffee.
So,
I didn't know they made coffee from little baby cows. I'll never drink it again.
not decaf, Mary Agatha. It's decaffeinated. Without the caffeine. Coffee's made from beans, Sister Silly Britches.
Oh, I don't mind drinking bean juice.
Thankful woman.
What's the matter now, Herman?
That snooty woman from the TV show told me to go to the bus and get her luggage. Well, I told her I ain't no bellhop. She can get it herself. She can freeze her knickers off if she wants to, but I ain't going to no bus.
I don't blame you. They can make do until they're ready to leave tomorrow.
The sooner the better. I don't like her show anyway. It ain't funny, it's just stupid.
I wouldn't know. You can help yourself. Some coffee in the dining room if you would like.
Don't mind if I do.
Did I hear someone mention coffee?
You probably did, Professor. It's been a hot topic of conversation in the last few minutes. The dining room is down the hall to your right.
Thanks. Shall we, Mary?
Yes, Dr. Lewis?
Doctor, I've been having some problems with my bursitis.
I am not that kind of doctor, sister. I teach literature.
Oh, that's all right then. I already know how to read.
That's nice. Mary?
He seems like a nice fellow. Wonder what he's doing with the bishop's daughter.
I heard someone mention that she's his student. I think they just happen to be traveling in the same bus.
If you say so, sister.
Everyone seems to be settling in nicely. It's strange to walk down the hallway and hear men's voices.
Sister Mary Ethelberga has a deep voice.
Yes, sister, but her problem is glandular. Poor dear. She makes Herman sound like a soprano.
Still, it's nice to have a bass handy when we sing hymns. As Reverend Mother would say, the Lord
Works in mysterious ways.
Am I interrupting?
Not at all, Miss Adams.
Please, Mary. Let's see. You're Mary Thomas. And you are...
Mary Martin, no relation to the Broadway actress, of course. I can't sing a note when I try. The hills are alive with the sound of shrieking.
That's not true, Sister Mary Pinocchio. You sing very well for someone who's totally tone deaf.
I suspected you were exaggerating. We haven't met yet. I'm Mary Adams.
Mary Agatha, are you a new novitiate?
No, ma'am. I was on the bus.
Oh, yes.
Your convent is fascinating. The suits of armors in the hallway, like that one, and the broadswords and crossbows and all throughout the place.
This old mansion was built at the church by Charles Becket, a very wealthy old gentleman. He claims to be related to Thomas à Becket.
My namesake, St. Thomas. Mr. Becket took a special interest in the Middle Ages and spent a small fortune on these artifacts.
You must tell Dr. Lewis all about it. He'll be stunned. The professor said he was going to lecture on Canterbury Tales tomorrow. If I remember my history correctly, Thomas Becket was...
The Archbishop of Canterbury.
Whom King Henry II had murdered. Yes, Chaucer's pilgrims tell their stories when they're en route to St. Thomas's shrine. If you want to know anything about old St. Tommy, just ask me. I studied all I could about him when the bishop gave me his name.
And then Dr. Lewis will definitely want to talk to you. Isn't it an odd coincidence that he should end up here tonight?
As the Reverend Mother would say,
The Lord works in mysterious ways.
Amen. When I left the sisterhood, I thought I put the convent life behind me forever. But he has seen fit to return me to one for a night. I must say, this brings back memories.
Pleasant ones, I hope.
For the most part.
Miss Evans, this is Sister Mary Agatha.
It's a pleasure to meet you, sister.
You lived in a convent? I'm confused.
I was a nun myself before I left the order.
You can quit? I didn't know you could quit. How about that? What'd you do? Give a 2 weeks notice?
It's not that simple. I taught at St. Helens for 20 years before I started questioning my calling. It's a long story.
I imagine your former students would be surprised should they see you now.
As a matter of fact, I think... Oh, never mind. I must be mistaken. I believe Reverend Mother mentioned coffee.
Yes, I'm supposed to tell you it's in the dining room, down the hall to your right. Just call me Sister Mary Bird, Brian.
I'd like some too. Excuse us.
Drink all you want. It's made from beans.
It has to do with cows. I'll tell you later.
All right.
Make yourselves comfortable. Do help yourselves, sisters. I'll watch out for it.
We'll get you some some coffee and a snack, Mary Agatha.
All right then, I'll just sit right here and keep myself company.
You do that, sister. Cows?
She's odd sometimes.
Okay. So if you want to do an interview, I've got some extra headshots on my guitar case you can use.
Look, kid, I don't write features. If you want publicity, call the entertainment editor.
Saints preserve us, the Martians have landed, the Martians have landed.
Calm down, sister. Mr. Torch is a musician. Musicians are not like regular people.
Right on, Rev, and it's just Torch. Don't be scared, sis. My look is to like make me stand out in a crowd. Lots of singers look like this.
Mr. Sinatra did it.
There's food and drink in the dining room, down the hall to your right.
Thank you, Reverend Mother.
So do you have the entertainment guy's number?
Reverend Mother,
Yes,
it's scary out in the real world. I'll never resign.
that's good to hear.
Not all performers look like that fellow.
That's even better.
I'm single, so I don't got a wife or kids worrying about me. You got somebody you need to call?
No, I don't have anybody either. Nobody at all.
Right. Reverend Mother, I still gotta let Greyhound know what happened. Is there a phone I can use?
Sure, right behind you by the chair.
Oh, right.
I work for the city. Why don't I sit here?
That's funny. There's no dial tone.
It was fine this afternoon when Sister Mary Fabiola called to let us know that the sisters were staying out of town tonight.
The line must be down.
Yeah. Ooh, it looks like good. I love cookies.
It's down the hall to your right.
Come on, Patrick, let's load up. Whoa, oops. Sorry, sisters, my stomach does the leading and I just follow. On board!
Mr. Patterson does look like he keeps the Keebler elves busy working overtime.
Truly. Here you are, sister.
Thank you.
And so, like, at the end of the number, I set the drummer's hair on fire. The hair is, fake.
It's back.
I hope no smoker ever asks you for a light, kid.
If you look like that every day, what on earth do you wear for Halloween?
Oh, I don't go trick-or-treating, sis. I'm grown up now.
Could have fooled me.
Have a finger sandwich, sister. Ew. It's pimento cheese.
Oh my goodness.
Don't be alarmed. It is I, Joan of Arc.
It's a miracle!
Oh, it isn't. It's that actress.
That's cool.
Really, Miss Kincaid?
I had to get out of my wet clothes. I slipped in the snow on the way from the bus, and that Herman creature refused to fetch my luggage. I saw this wonderful suit of armor in the hallway and had a divine inspiration. What better way to prepare for the role of St. Joan than to dress like her in full battle regalia?
Oh my goodness! Do be careful, those swords are razor sharp.
And they're heavy too. That Joan must have worked out.
And then I says to him, so holy smokes, it's the Tin Man.
Nonsense! It is I, Erica Kincaid.
Oh, for a moment there, I thought we were in Oz.
Miss Kincaid is play acting in a very old and very valuable antique. I must ask you to remove it, young lady, before it is damaged.
Well, I can see that you do not support the arts.
Have you ever seen anything like that?
Not in this lifetime.
Yeah, let's chow down.
I thought I'd join you. Has everyone been served?
Everyone except Miss Kincaid. She can fend for herself.
You might want to leave the can opener out.
Join us, sister.
I am in the kitchen. Servants are supposed to do that, aren't they? I'm going back to my rooms. If there's anything else you need, just call.
We can't call you. Mr. Patterson discovered the line has gone dead.
Figures.
There's plenty of food left in the dining room if anyone would care for more.
This tastes wonderful. It seems like ages since we saw that little place near Rochester. What was it called again?
The Chat and Shoe Diner.
I think I've heard that name before. Did we eat there, sisters?
No, sister.
It's a regular stop on my route. It gives the passengers a chance to stretch their legs and use the facilities.
I assume all of you got off the bus there?
Sure, Reverend Mother. Not everyone wanted to wait on a cold bus stop for half an hour or so.
I see.
Yep, Edgar and Doordale.
Who's that?
Mary Lester, a waitress at the Chat and Chew. The police discovered her body strangled behind the diner. They think it was the work of the Mary murderer.
Quiet down!
No wonder we never eat there.
Please, sister. You were going to say something, Mr. McDougal?
Yes. When was the murder committed?
The reporter said they found her body about an hour or so ago.
Not long after we stopped there.
Look, folks, buses pulling at the diner all the time, night and day. There was a trailways parked next to my Greyhound. You saw how crowded the place was.
The victim's name was Mary?
The announcer said that her name, Mary, was stitched onto her pocket.
She waited on us. She said, "Hi, I'm Mary," and I said, "I am too." Remember, Sir Stacy?
I think so.
So she was alive when we got there.
The question is, was she alive when the bus left?
All right, enough!
Lieutenant McDougal, what are you doing with that pistol? It is most inappropriate to bring a weapon into a convent.
I would hardly call the swords and axes on the wall toys.
Those are decorations. The former owner's tastes were rather gothic, as you can see. Guns are another matter.
I'm sorry if I offended you, Reverend Mother, but when we arrived at this little old house, I didn't know it was a convent. It wouldn't have mattered anyway. I'm a cop. My gun goes where I go.
You're the fuzz? Heavy, man.
You didn't say anything. You're supposed to tell the driver if you have weapons on any means of public transportation. It's regulation 580.
I never blow my cover. I'm with the homicide division in Manhattan. I guess I'm now officially on the trail of the Mary murderer.
The announcers say the police suspect that he's fleeing from the Canadian border.
That makes sense. Let's see if I can identify the culprit and arrest him before he flees the country.
Mr. McDougal, if you really thought it was one of us, why have you chosen to reveal your profession to us now?
Because if the murderer is among us, I want to let him know that he'd be crazy to try anything while I'm around here to protect him.
But anyone who has murdered 10, no, 11 women just because they're named Mary is crazy, isn't he?
That'll be up to his defense lawyer, Ruth, once we catch him.
You said he. How do you know the murderer's a man? There's some tough babes out there. Strong. I know I wouldn't want to mess with Sister Mary Ethelbert.
Her problem is glandular.
It's possible a female is a serial killer, but not probable. Female serial killers are very rare. You know, I know where all the other men in this room were this afternoon. I'm just curious. Where were you?
Me? What kind of damnful question is that? All the rest of you were at the scene of the crime.
If you didn't have anything to hide, you wouldn't mind answering it. Where were you?
If you gotta know, I was coming in from Buffalo. I lived there and come to the convent on the weekends to do chores.
Rochester isn't that far from Buffalo. Come to think of it, Manhattan's only a few hours away, and all the murders there occurred on weeknights, so...
Hold it right there, mister. You ain't pinning no murders on me.
I'm not trying to pin any murders on anybody yet. I just want to make it clear you're a suspect, just as much as any other man in this room.
You really think it's one of us, officer?
Lieutenant. Maybe not. Hopefully not. But I recommend all of you lock your doors tonight.
We can't. The old doors in this mansion require keys, and I assume they were lost long before we inherited the house.
We've never had the need to lock our doors before. None of us would ever dream of invading another sister's privacy.
All right. Then I at least recommend you take a straight back chair and wedge the top underneath your doorknobs. You've all been warned.
I'm confused. The young man thinks we have a killer in the convent?
Probably not, sister, but the lieutenant just wants us to be cautious.
Oh my goodness, I'm going to hide in the walls.
What are you, leaving a termite?
You will do no such thing, Mary Agatha. You remember what happened the last time you went wandering in the woodwork? Perhaps I better explain. This old mansion is full of secret passageways and hidden rooms. The original structure was built in the mid-1700s by a notorious pirate with the unpleasant name of Mad Dog Morgan. Apparently, he plundered the Atlantic and came here by way of the Great Lakes with his bounty, which he hid in its interior.
This is fascinating. I would love to explore all of these secret rooms.
I'm afraid I must forbid it. I'm sorry the subject came up, but since it did, let me remind you, Mary and Agatha, that the last time you went wandering in the hidden corridors, you got lost for an entire day, and by the time we finally found you, you were covered in enough cobwebs to make a cocoon. Stay out of the walls.
All right.
This place is so cool. Could we, shoot a video here?
Over my dead body. Perhaps that was not the best way to phrase my objection. Under the circumstances, the answer is no. This is a holy order and we value our privacy.
Which we have disturbed. Sorry, Reverend Mother.
It can't be helped. It is a blessing for us to provide you shelter. Lieutenant McDougal, we appreciate your warning, and I trust everyone will keep it in mind. Let us pray that your concern prove to be unfounded.
Now I lay me down to sleep.
Not yet, sister.
This year's been a real swell party, but I'm heading back to my rooms. Mr. Detective, if you decide you want to arrest me or anything, I'll be over the garage.
I'll remember that.
Good help must be difficult to find.
Mr. Beckett's will specify that the Holy Order continue to retain Herman. As I always say, the Lord works in mysterious ways.
I have returned.
Sometimes very mysterious.
What are you doing in those robes, Miss Kincaid?
Let's just say I've been picking up some good habits lately. It was a joke. Like, you wouldn't let me wear the suit of armor. Anyways, this is a lot better and much more comfortable. I borrowed it from the wardrobe in my room. And it helps me get in touch with the spiritual side of St. Joan.
You're in Sister Erica's room. That belongs to the sister.
There's a St. Quinteria. What happened to her?
Her father had her beheaded when she refused Miriam choosing.
He had her head chopped off.
Clean up.
Boy, father sure was strict back in her day, huh? I had to wear something dry, and this was handy. I'll be happy to charge its dry cleaning to the movie's production costs.
Never mind. I'm sure Sister Mary Quintero will see its loan as an act of charity.
Thanks. Food, I'm famished.
If you're in the mood to play a martyr, you can fast.
There's no need, darling. I can act hungry for the camera. And is there a bar in this joint? Because I'd kill for a Bloody Mary about it. What?
Someone said, you missed a rather startling announcement, Miss Kincaid. Let me accompany you to the dining room and relay it.
Was it gossip? Because I adore gossip.
I'll join him for another helping. I'm a big guy. It takes a lot to fill me up.
I'm finished, Reverend Mother. I'll check the refreshments.
Thank you, sister.
Murdered!
And they say good news travels fast.
Well, I'm getting more coffee.
I'm with you, man.
I feel much better now having eaten. I appreciate your hospitality, Your Mother.
And I.
It's our pleasure.
I'm going to the dining room too. Lieutenant, if you'd like me to take your cup,
Thanks, Miss Adams.
you can call me Mary.
Thanks, Mary. If you don't mind, Reverend Mother, I'd like to take a look around the place and check out the security.
If you like, Lieutenant.
Can I bring you anything else?
No, thank you, Miss Adams.
She seems like a sweet girl.
Yes, but I don't recall her mentioning why she was traveling on the bus. Do you?
Now that you mention it, no.
If her reasons are private, you mustn't pry. Well, sisters, this is proving to be the most unusual evening.
It certainly is, Reverend Mother. Say, do you think the Mary murderer really could be one of our guests? If he is among us, I would love to discover his identity.
Don't be ridiculous, Mary Martin. Who do you think you are? Sister Mary Sherlock? And besides, even if we did catch the killer, how would we subdue him? We're not ninja nuns, you know.
You're right. We'd better leave the detecting up to Lieutenant McDougal.
I'm offended.
Offended? Why, Mary Agatha?
That new nun came in and nobody introduced us.
Mr. Stacy, you're working apparently. I didn't mean to disturb you.
Yeah, that's okay. I was just getting started.
Something for the newspaper column?
Yes. There's only one light bulb in my room, and it's really dim.
A nun's needs are simple. The furnishing at my former convent were much more sparse than the ones here at St. Mary's.
I haven't seen our hosts for a while.
They're at Vespers. Reverend Mother showed me a room we converted into a chapel. I believe they gathered there to pray. No doubt for that poor gold girl's soul, the waitress, Mary Lester.
Considering what Lieutenant McDougal said, shouldn't you be in your room?
I'm not afraid. Though I walk through the shadow of the valley of death, I shall fear no evil.
I wish I had your faith. I'm afraid. I'm very afraid.
But why, Mr. Stacy? The murderous victims have all been named Mary. Surely your life's not in danger.
I meant I'm concerned for your safety. You said your name used to be Mary,
Mary Apollonia?
Yes, I'm concerned for you and the other Marys.
Mr. McDougal seems determined to protect us. As you no doubt noticed, he's very deeply involved in this case.
Yeah. You know, he's more involved in this case than you may think. His wife, Mary McDougal, was the first victim of the Mary murderer.
No! His wife?
Yes. I was working late at the Times the night Tony DeSalvo, a reporter, came in talking about it. He had just come from the scene of the crime. The police found Mrs. McDougal strangled in their bedroom. The police also found a window with a broken pane downstairs and assumed the killer had gotten in that way. It was last June.
I had no idea.
You look pale. I didn't mean to startle you. Could I get you a glass of water? Or maybe something stronger? I have a flask of brandy in my room to ward off the cold.
No brandy, but a cup of coffee would be nice.
Go for another cup, too. Sister Mary Margaret, I think, said the Mr. Coffee machine would stay warm overnight. Or is it Sister Coffee? I'm sorry. I don't write a humor column. You can see why, shall we?
Yes, Mr. Stacy.
Very interesting, Mr. Stacy.
Nice service tonight.
Oh, yes. Sister Mary Martin, what do you call two nuns drumming together?
I have no idea.
A co-nun drum. It was so nice of you to let us join you for your prayer service, Reverend Mother.
Yes, the longer I'm here, the more I feel like St. Joan. If I win an Emmy for playing her, I'll try and remember to thank you. Right after my producer, director, agents, other cast members, hairdresser, makeup man, my parents, and God, I mustn't forget him.
You shouldn't, Miss Kincaid. He doesn't forget you.
You're right. I was born a poor girl in a small mining town in Virginia. And now look at me. I'm rich, famous, and a star. Isn't it amazing?
Lord works in
Mysterious ways.
That reminds me, I need to work on my sampler now. Where did I put it?
It's right here, Mary Agatha.
Oh,
Why don't you take it to your room? It is past our bedtimes.
I thought I was getting sleepy.
Perhaps we should follow Lieutenant McDougal's advice and wedge a chair under a doorknob. The Lord
Works in mysterious ways.
I was going to say, the Lord helps those who help themselves.
I'll drive my mattress into Mary Agatha's room and watch over her. I can sleep on the floor beside her bed. With your permission, of course, Reverend Mother.
What a thoughtful gesture. I consent wholeheartedly.
I'm going to have a roommate. I'm so glad. I haven't had a roommate since I was a young girl.
It's just for tonight, Mary Agatha. Well, we have guests. Come on, you can help me move my mattress.
Will you tell me a bedtime story?
Sure, I'll pretend to be Reverend Mother Goose. I'm ready to turn into to. I'd like to look over my script before I go to sleep. Good night, all.
We're right behind you. Mary Martin?
Yes, it's been a long day. Don't forget to put the chair underneath your doorknob.
Chair. I'm thinking of using the wardrobe.
Miss Bishop, you go on ahead, Reverend Mother. I think I'll stay here a little longer. I'm not scared.
I couldn't help but notice during Vespers you seemed troubled. Is there anything I can do?
I'm so unhappy. Oh, Reverend Mother.
What is it, child?
It's Ryan, this boy I've been seeing. We had a fight recently.
A boyfriend? That does not surprise me.
I really like him. In fact, I guess I love him. But he's been acting so strange lately.
Why don't you tell me about it?
He called last night. He wanted to come over to my dorm room and straighten things out. I hung up on him. It was so immature. I need to face my problems head on, and here I am running home to Mother.
Think of it as needing to put a little time and distance between you two, to think things through.
Yes, I will. If only...
What? The ice might have snapped the power lines. Hopefully it's just the circuit breaker shutting off.
Thank goodness the storm clouds have passed over. The moonlight helps.
And the Christmas tree. Mary Margaret was right about installing in batteries instead of plugging it into the wall. Here.
Thank you.
Pray it's not the lines, my dear. Otherwise, we'll all be pulling our mattresses in front of the fireplace to keep warm.
If so, someone's going to have to grab your handyman too, won't they?
Dear Lord.
It's fortunate the sisters set the dining table with candles.
Yes, it is, Miss Evans. Those corridors are rather dark. Maybe I should light the way if anyone wants to come back into the library. The fire is dying too. Maybe I should get more firewood to relight it.
You're right. This old house will go down quickly.
But I don't want to leave you alone.
I'm all right. Besides, you won't be gone for long.
You're right. I'll be right back. Miss Evans!
The door opened. No, stay away! It's all right, Miss Evans. No one's going to hurt you.
Here, help her up.
Did you have a nice nap?
I wasn't asleep, sister. I fainted. Someone frightened me.
Who was it?
I don't know. He was dressed in dark clothes and wore a ski mask. He was hiding behind that table you were working at earlier, Mr. Stacy. When we came in from the dining room.
Oh, I shouldn't have left you alone. I wouldn't have dreamed.
You couldn't have known.
Here, Miss Evans, sit down.
We've never had prowlers here before. What could he have been looking for?
A victim?
It's morning! No, sister, the lights have come back on.
Oh, I thought it was an awfully short night.
This is so weird. I was reading through my script and came to the end of a scene where it said blackout, and then there was a blackout. I think it's a sign from above.
It was a sign, but the electricity went out, Miss Kincaid. Nothing more.
Well, it is possible. Like Reverend Mother always says, the Lord works in mysterious ways.
We know, but I don't think we can chalk up power failure to divine intervention.
It wasn't power failure. Someone threw the main switch on the circuit breaker.
I can't imagine why anyone would do that.
I can. When I left Miss Evans in here alone a few minutes ago, somebody attacked her.
Did he harm you?
No, Reverend Mother. Unless you count being frightened out of your wits, he didn't touch me. When he moved towards me, I screamed, then fainted. Could you tell who it was? No, it was dark and he was wearing a ski mask.
It must have been a terrifying experience for you. Yes, if it had happened to me, I would have died of fright. I'm a big sister scaredy cat.
I must write this all down.
I know a screenwriter who can turn this into a movie of the week for me to star in. I'll play Laura Evans, of course, although her character might have to be much younger. Ooh, and maybe even a beautiful former Las Vegas showgirl instead of an ex-nun. But otherwise it'll be exactly the same. Excuse me.
I have a feeling if Miss Kincaid had her way, St. Joan would appear in court wearing a dress by Yves Saint Laurent and diamonds from Tiffany's.
I don't believe I've heard of St. Laurent. Did he perform a miracle?
Not unless you count hiding a midriff bulge.
Our designer has feet.
I saw your lights go out and come back on. What's the matter, Mother?
It was the circuit breaker, Herman. The power has been restored.
Good. Because if everybody had to come over to my place to stay warm, it'd get mighty crowded. We'd all have to sleep standing up.
I don't expect the problem to recur.
We heard a commotion.
Is anything wrong?
Miss Evans was startled by a prowler.
A prowler? Here?
It had to have been here. Miss Evans wouldn't have seen him.
I value your wisdom, sister. It was a foolish question.
Hey, man, like, is he still in the house?
We think he went out the door.
We'd better make sure. If you women will return to your rooms, us men will search the place. Unless that idea sounds too chauvinistic to you.
That's fine with me. I'll check under my bed and call it quits.
Willard, Dr. Lewis, will you take the stairs near the side door and search the floor above?
Right.
It's used mostly for storage.
It won't hurt to look. Torch, Mr. Stacy, you take the dining room, kitchen, and back of the house.
That's cool.
I'll check the bedrooms. Herman, you look around outside.
Light it now.
Please.
The prowler. We've all been thinking it. Who's gonna say it?
Do you believe it was the Mary murderer?
I mean, we have to face the facts. All of the men on that bus were at the diner when that poor waitress was killed. And now, a mysterious stranger shows up at the convent miles from the highway. It has to be the Mary murderer, and he came here on that bus.
Oh, sister.
Miss Evans, Miss Adams, Miss Bishop, you were with the men for several hours in close quarters. Did you see or hear anything that might make you think one of them could be a murderer?
It couldn't have been Mr. Stacy. The prowler was hiding in their room when we came in.
I've been in Dr. Lewis's English lit class all semester. I've never seen anything suspicious about him. And the driver, Willard, seems awfully good-natured to be a killer.
But then, serial killers are often described by their neighbors and acquaintances as being very ordinary. You can't tell by appearances.
I imagine if we could, we'd all elect Torch by unanimous vote.
Is that boy with the spiky hair the president?
His own fan club, maybe, but that's all.
Lieutenant McDougal seems to think that Herman's a suspect.
We can't deny Herman is strange, but I don't think he's the Mary murderer. We have a convent full of Marys. If he were the killer, wouldn't you have tried to kill one of us months ago?
Not necessarily. Even the deranged can be very crafty. If any of you had been murdered, he would be the prime suspect. Herman would have been smart to stalk his victims away from the convent.
I just had a creepy thought.
What, sister?
If it is Herman, and he did want to kill one of us, tonight would be the perfect opportunity, since there are other men in the convent as well.
You're right. We had better be on our guard against him, too.
Sisters, Reverend Mother, I'm so sorry we brought this trouble to your doorstep, putting your lives in danger, as well as our own.
It can't be helped. Everything happens for a purpose. Now that we're isolated here, hopefully Lieutenant McDougal will capture the fiend and put him away.
I hope you're right, Reverend Mother.
I think the best thing we can do now is return to our rooms. I'm sure the men will let us know if they discover anything.
I'm glad our other sisters are stranded in Buffalo tonight. At least they're safe.
From murderers, anyway.
You were telling me a bedtime story. Do you remember?
Yes, we had just gotten to the part where the big bad wolf jumped right in front of the path of Little Red Riding Hood.
The back of the house seems well secured.
Yeah, man, like, where are the penguin ladies?
I imagine the women have gone to the rooms.
That's cool. So, what do we do now?
Well, I plan to finish this article I write. When the other men get back, I'm going to suggest we take up sentry duty in the bedroom corridors. If If we all stay inside of one another, the killer won't have a chance to strike. If it's one of us.
That's good thinking, man. Well, I'm too wired to sit still and wait. So I'll go look up with Willard and the professor to see if they found anything.
You do that.
Watch your back, dude.
Oh, Mr. Stacy, you're here.
Miss Bishop, Torch and I didn't find anything in the back of the house. Shouldn't you be in your room?
I doubt I'll be able to sleep tonight. I thought I'd find a book to read.
Well, you have plenty to choose from.
Don't let me disturb you. I'll pick one and be on my way.
That's okay. I just have to finish this article.
Wow, they have quite a collection. Many of the classics. The complete works of Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. His books are on Dr. Lewis's reading list for next semester. Maybe I'll read a couple and get a head start on my homework.
So it's going to be Sherlock Holmes, eh? Miss Bishop? Where did you go? Mary? Mary? Oh, something's wrong. I can feel it. Oh, maybe I should go tell the others.
I've been thinking.
Talking about a nun. I saw a nun drug Mr. Stacy in there.
There's a secret passageway behind the bookcase. We found it the day we were searching for Mary Agatha.
You were never going to let me live that down, are you?
That's all right, sister. Here, I think I can find the latch again.
You said you saw a nun, but we're all here. Did you see her face? I could only tell she was wearing a habit.
Veil hid her face.
No, his face most likely. To overpower Mr. Stacy, it must have been a man in disguise. As you discovered yourself, Miss Kincaid, we nuns keep extra habits in our wardrobes.
We're always changing our habits. Cleanliness is next to godliness.
I must put that on a sampler.
I found it.
It's dark in there. I speak from experience.
I can take care of myself. I'll go.
Miss Bishop!
Are you hurt?
What happened?
Mr. Stacy, he was at the table writing his column. I had just selected a book to read. Suddenly, someone grabbed me from behind and pulled me to that space behind the wall. He put his hand on my mouth and nose, and when I couldn't get any air in, I blacked out. Next thing I knew, Mary Adams was kneeling beside me.
Well, what about Mr. Stacy? He's dead. Apparently, he's been strangled to death. That's horrible.
How do you say that?
I've looked, but there's nobody else in there. I have a feeling whoever did this has already slipped back out.
This is terrible. Give me some paper. Quick, I must write this all down. For my autobiography, of course. You know, with me being a witness to murder, it'll make this a bestseller.
I think it's going to take a little bit more than wearing that habit to make her a spiritual person.
Amen to that.
Oh wait, Miss Kincaid. Mr. Stacy's papers might be evidence. And I don't think we should move his body until the police can get here.
I feel just awful. If I hadn't have said anything about the hidden bookcase and all the other stairwells and rooms, the killer would have known about them.
Herman knew about them.
What, sir?
Oh, nothing, Reverend Mother.
I was so scared. I thought I was going to die.
But you didn't, dear. He might have murdered both of you if Miss Kincaid hadn't frightened him off.
We assume it was the Mary murderer, but if it was, why did he pass up a chance to strangle a Mary Bishop, and kill a man instead? It doesn't make any sense.
Yes, it does. These are letters to an advice to the loved one column at the New York Times. Just ask Mary. Mr. Stacy was composing an answer to one. Apparently, the reason why he was so evasive about his work at the Times was because he figured his readers would be outraged to learn the advice was given by a man. Jerome Stacy was married.
Why can't my writers think of things like this?
Because, Miss Kincaid, this isn't some stupid television show. A man has just died.
You're right, that was insensitive, and I'm sorry. What can I do to make up for it?
Say 1,000 Hail Marys.
Oh my gosh, you mean he's killing men now too?
We'll explain later. But right now, you need to tell me where you were a few minutes ago.
Oh, upstairs searching the rooms.
Together?
No, we split off into different wings.
I went up to help after Stacy and I checked the kitchen. But I didn't see these guys implement the staircase. You know, after the screen.
There are hidden passages and staircases all behind these walls. I mean, the killer could have come and gone without even being seen.
Do you think it was one of us?
All right, what's all the noise about?
I better show you.
So why did he kill Meg?
Mistress Stacy used a pen name, Mary, in his newspaper column, Just Ask Mary.
This is getting too far out.
Are you all right, Mary?
Yes.
Oh, I mean Mary Bishop. You look upset.
The killer attacked me before he murdered Mr. Stacy. He put his hand over mouth and nose. I blacked out. I didn't see him.
Poor girl.
A little shaken up, but I'll be all right.
All right, that settles it. I have to get all of you out of here at daybreak, even if we have to walk to Buffalo.
If anyone's interested, I know why the phone's dead. The line's been cut. I found something else too.
What, Herman?
This.
That just because I've had a spat with my girlfriend, that I'm a murderer.
Actually, I think the killer started his spree several months ago.
Spree? You can't think that I'm
The Mary murderer!
Mary, tell him that's insane.
Actually, we think the killer is insane.
We?
The police. I'm a cop. Lieutenant McDougal of the Manhattan Homicide Division. Miss Evans, the man you saw earlier in the ski mask, was this him?
I don't know. It was dark, and when he moved towards me, I fainted. It might have been he, but I can't swear to it.
What are you talking about? I just got here.
That's what I expect you to say, if you're our killer.
Lieutenant, I'm sure you're wrong about Ryan. He can never hurt anyone.
Maybe, maybe not. How long have you two been going together?
We started dating just last spring.
Uh-huh. Just around the time you were starting. You know, your boyfriend loves you and hates you at the same time. Can't take his bad feelings out on you, so he takes them out on another women named Mary.
I can't believe I'm hearing this. What are you, a cop or a psychiatrist?
In my line of work, we have to be a little bit of both. Reverend Mother, can we use your kitchen? We need to have a private little talk.
Of course, Lieutenant.
The kitchen? What do you plan to do in there? Grill me?
That won't be necessary. If you confess.
I have nothing to confess.
We'll see. I want to hear all about how you can spend your time for the last several months.
Lieutenant, please, you don't need a gun.
You're right. I can handle this guy without it. Let's go. Through those doors.
Mary?
Just do as he says, Ryan.
Where are all these men coming from? Is the church going to turn St. Mary's into a monastery?
No, sister.
It does seem like we're going to become a co-ed convent, doesn't it?
Hopefully our guests will be able to leave tomorrow and we can restore order to our order. Sisters, I think we should offer prayers for Mr. Stacy. You're welcome to join us if you wish.
May I? Mr. Stacy's death has... I feel the need for the companionship of sisters.
I'll come to my room. I really do feel bad about Mr. Stacy.
I wish there was something we could do.
Well, we could move the body to one of the bedrooms.
No. I imagine the police would rather you leave the remains where they are. They usually secure a crime scene.
Oh, right.
It might be a good idea if I close the door.
Herman, you said the phone line has been cut?
Snipped clean as a whistle.
It sounds like the killer had some plan, huh? The murder was... what's the word?
Premeditated?
Yeah, medicated. Oh, whatever. Boy, I hate to be in your boyfriend's moods right now.
Ryan didn't kill anyone.
Hey, that's cool.
Gentlemen, I'd like to talk to you in private. Could you leave us alone for a while?
Sure, Miss Adams. Let's go to my room then. Herman, I'd like you to tell all of us about the layout of this old house.
I know this place inside now. Ought to. I've done enough repairs on it.
The problem you had with your boyfriend, Ryan Wallace. Ryan, do you want to talk about it? He's a great guy, and I love him, but he's been keeping something from me. What do you mean? Well, we'll be on a date, having a wonderful time, and then he'll look at his watch and say, I've got to go. He doesn't tell you why? He He said he's tired, or he's studying for a test or something. The thing is, when I called him later, no one answers the phone.
Maybe if you ask his roommate.
He doesn't live in a dorm. He says that noise is too distracting. He rents out a basement apartment from an elderly couple who got a house near campus.
A basement where he could probably come and go without their noticing?
Yes, so I began to wonder if he was seeing someone else. A couple of days ago, I finally confronted him. He got very upset.
Did he explain his disappearances?
No. He said that if he wanted me to know, that he'd tell me, that I should mind my own business.
What did you do?
I said, don't worry. Your business is no longer a concern of mine. I took off his class ring, threw it on the ground, and ran out. He's called a couple of times since then, but I refused to talk to him.
No doubt Lieutenant McDougal is asking him where he's been spending his nights. Well, those nights those girls were murdered.
But Ryan lives alone. If he was home, there's no one who can give him an alibi.
Try not to worry. If Ryan is innocent, no one can prove he committed those crimes.
I know he's innocent. He's good and he's kind, and I don't know what to do.
You two should talk. Maybe he's ready to explain his odd behavior now. I mean, he did follow you all the way here.
Yes, he did.
Give him a chance to clear things up. But first, we've got a bigger problem to deal with. If it's not Ryan, one of the other men in this house is the Mary murderer. We've got to find out which one before he strikes again. With your help, I think I know a way we can do that.
We?
Yes, us Marys. Miss Kincaid gave me an idea. Will you help me?
If I can, I want to prove to the lieutenant that it's not Ryan that's the killer.
All right, let's go to my room where we won't be overheard. And I'll tell you what I have in mind. I just thought of something I need to do. You go on ahead. I'll be right there.
All right.
It's just awful. Can't believe what's happening.
So young. Really, I think there's something like that would happen in our conscience.
That was a nice service, Reverend Mother.
Thank you. May Mr. Stacy's spirit rest in peace.
Amen. Sister Mary Agatha, you must be exhausted.
My knees are killing me. We prayed an awful lot tonight.
Let me take you to your room where you can lie down and get some rest.
That sounds good. But I don't want any more fairy tales, though. They're too scary.
Then I'll read you another chapter of A Christmas Carol.
That sounds much nicer. I can't wait to hear what happens to that mean old Reverend Mother Scrooge.
I put it in terms she can relate to.
Every year at this time, we read A Christmas Carol to Mary Agatha.
I was wondering why during prayer she said, God bless us, everyone, and Tiny Tim.
Mary Agatha can be exasperating at times.
Like getting lost in the walls.
Or the time she hid the poplars, our Christmas presents, in the oven, and Sister Mary and Phoebe preheated it and set the kitchen on fire.
Oh, times like those. But we love her. I've come to the conclusion that the Lord sent Mary Agatha to us to teach me patience. He does work in mysterious ways.
Amen. The sister seems happy here. At our convent, St. Luke's, we too had sisters who would find the outside world too difficult to cope with. Our orders are often a haven for such souls as these.
I agree.
But sometimes, on nights like tonight, the world has a way of intruding on our seclusion.
The serial killer?
Let us hope the lieutenant will be able to apprehend him before he strikes again.
Oh yes, I've never been so scared in my life.
Do you think the murderer could kill someone else tonight?
Well, sister, this place is overflowing with Marys, and he must feel like a proverbial fox in a hen house. And I, for one, am a big chicken.
Have faith, Mary Thomas.
I'll try, Reverend Mother.
The young man Lieutenant McDougal is questioning, Miss Bishop's boyfriend, will need a room. Would you like me to prepare one for him, Reverend Mother?
Yes, and take Mary Thomas with you. There's safety in numbers.
Yes, safety in numbers. If someone attacks us, you fight him, and I will run for help. Just kidding.
Perhaps we should retire.
Yes, but right now, I could use some rest.
So could I.
I doubt any of us would get any real sleep tonight. Surely tomorrow someone will be able to bring the police.
The highway department is very good about keeping the roads cleared from here to Buffalo. I expect we shouldn't be isolated much longer.
That's good to hear, but I don't want the killer to bolt before I apprehend him. Give me your car keys.
Fine.
Where's Herman, Reverend Mother? I want to get his keys too.
I don't know where any of the other men are, Lieutenant. If I see him, I'll send him to you.
All right.
I assume if you want Herman's car keys, you aren't going to arrest this young man?
I didn't kill anybody.
We'll see. No, Reverend Mother. I haven't charged anybody. Yet. I'm going to head over to the garage and take a look at your handyman's little apartment.
Apparently, Lieutenant McDougal has not heard about a little thing called a search warrant.
The sisters are preparing you a room, Mr. Wallace.
Hey, thanks a lot, but before I do anything else, if you ask Mary if she'll see me.
I'll ask.
Brian!
Mary, I'm so glad that you're all right. If I hadn't upset you, we wouldn't be here under the same roof as the serial killer. I'm so sorry.
Since you're not in handcuffs, I assume you convinced Lieutenant that you're not the very murderer.
No, I still think that I'm his prime suspect, but he cannot charge me without any evidence. As long as you know that I'm innocent, that's all that I care about.
Of course I know it wasn't you. I can never fall in love with someone capable of murder.
Then you do love me?
You know I do.
Oh, I love you too, Mary.
Do you? When you love someone, you trust them. You don't keep secrets from them. You don't disappear at nights and refuse to tell them where you've been.
I have a reason for that.
Very well. If you won't tell me, I hope you told the lieutenant where you vanished to. Your life would depend on it.
I did, but he doesn't believe me, and I can't prove it.
Then you haven't been with someone else?
Mary, you know that you're the only girl for me. You know that I could never. Do you believe me now?
You provide a very strong argument, but I still don't understand why you won't tell me.
I'll tell you everything in 2 weeks, I promise.
Very well. But I warn you, your explanation had better be good.
It will be, I promise.
I take the potholders Mary Agatha has given me on past Christmases and hook them with the one she's given me, or going to give me this Christmas, I'll have enough to make a bedspread. Oh, there you are.
Thanks.
Sisters, meet my boyfriend. This is Ryan Wallace. This is Sister Mary Thomas and Sister Mary Martin.
The non-singing one. I could break into a few bars. My favorite thing, if you want proof.
Oh, that's all right, I believe you.
I gather you two have patched up your differences.
Yes, sister.
Yep, I convinced Mary that I love her to death. Ooh, I'll get my coat now.
The rooms are this way, Mr. Wallace.
See you later, Mary.
Oh, I'm so glad you two are made up. I must confess, I enjoy love stories with happy endings.
Why, Sister Mary Thomas, you're a romantic.
Guilty. I had a boyfriend once, years ago. We were in high school and his name was Roger.
What happened?
We graduated and he went to college. End of story.
Is that why you
Became a nun? No, dear. Looking back, I see what Roger and I had was what they call puppy love. Not the real thing, but it was nice.
do you ever regret?
Not finding the real thing? No, dear. I found the life I was meant to live. I love it here.
That's good.
I just wanted to let you know that I have an idea of what you and Ryan feel for each other, and I hope it lasts forever.
Thank you, Mary Thomas. I hope so too.
Well, dear, should we be getting back to our rooms?
You're right, we should. I'm tired, but I'm not sleepy. Oh, I just remembered. I came in here earlier for a book. I'll meet up with you later.
Hi, dear.
Ah, here it is. Well, Mr. Sherlock Holmes, you're gonna have to wait. Wish murder in real life could be solved as easily as they are in your stories.
Hello?
I'm in here.
Mary Bishop, I thought I heard someone.
I was just talking to myself.
You really shouldn't be in here alone.
I know. Just let me put this back.
Now come, dear. If that awful murderer should try and strike again, we mustn't make it easy for him.
That wouldn't be a very smart thing to do, now would it?
No.
That policeman took my keys. When it took my car keys.
Took the keys to my Greyhound too. I don't know why. It's gonna take a tow truck to get us back on the road again, even if I'm not sitting in it.
Obviously, Lieutenant McDougal intends to keep us all here until he catches the murderer. It seems to me, if he had given the killer means to escape, if one was left, then he would know who's the guilty party, and the police could put on all bulletin points and nab him.
And all the women here would be safe.
Exactly.
Well, maybe he's afraid the guy would make it up to Canada. I mean, there's miles of uncharted forest up there a person could hide.
I suppose it's possible.
I never knew love could be like this! Come on, baby! Kill me with a kiss!
You do that again, weirdo, and I'll kill you with my fists.
Hey, chill out, man. People make big bucks can't do that.
And they're bigger weirdos than you.
Hey, Professor, a student's boyfriend who showed up after the newspaper guy was killed. Do you teach him too?
Law's boy? No. He's not in any of my classes. I have seen him around the campus of Mary, though. He seems innocent enough.
Like, the cops tried to pin on one of us, but maybe it was somebody else. You told us about the hidden passages in this old barn. There could be somebody else in this house we don't even know about.
You could be right.
Well, Lieutenant McDougal figures that since we were all at the diner when the waitress was killed,
the killer could have been there too, and they got caught in a blizzard and ended up here like we did.
I guess.
If there is somebody else in this house and we can find him, we can prove we're not guilty. Let's go, pal.
It's a long shot, but we don't have anything to lose. Herman, you can show us some of the hidden entrances.
I suppose it's better than sitting here twiddling our thumbs. Let's go before Papehead over here throws another concert.
if we spread out, we can cover more ground. And trust me, when I say spread out, I know what I'm talking about.
If we do find someone, well, I feel better if I had a weapon.
You got plenty of those. Help yourselves.
I'd rather have a gun.
Not me. Never touched one in my life. I'd probably shoot my toe off.
This is so cool.
Swing that rock, you'll have real spikes in your head. Come on, there's a passageway off the kitchen that leads to all over the house.
I've got to do it. I've got to do it. I think Sister Mary, what's her name, pushed a button about. Here. Oh. When my fans read my autobiography, they'll be expecting a vivid description of Mr. Stacy's body. Oh, it's my duty to report it. Oh, you look awful. It's nothing personal, Mr. Stacy. You look fine when you were alive, but now you look awful. Oh, face really red, eyes wide open, staring and bloodshot, mouth open, tongue sticking out. There was this rotten little child actor in one of my TV movies who had the nerve to stick his tongue out at me every time I had a close-up. He looked ridiculous, but you, oh, you look awful. Bruises on the neck, black and blue and green and yellow, and if I ever play a character who gets murdered, I'll refuse to let her be strangled, because if I had to look like that, I'd die. No offense, Mr. Stacy, you can't really help that.
Miss Kincaid,
What?
what are you doing?
Just, viewing the remains, you know, Mr. Stacy.
I hardly think you'll be asking for your autograph now.
This? I was just taking notes of my autobiography. Do you want my autograph?
Some other time. Look, I've asked Lieutenant to meet me in here to discuss a private matter. So if you don't mind.
You want me to leave? No problem. I guess I should be getting my beauty sleep if I'm to face the camera tomorrow.
Yes, Miss Kincaid, you should have been in bed hours ago.
Well, good night. The dead man had scratched his own cheeks as he attempted to claw the killer's hand from his throat. Alas, unsuccessfully.
Alas. I'm sorry, Mr. Stacy. What can I say? She's an actress.
You wanted to speak with me, Miss Bishop?
Please, call me Mary.
All right, Mary. What's on your mind?
I talked to Ryan since you questioned him. He said you seem to think he's your main suspect for the Mary murderer.
The boy doesn't have anyone to corroborate his alibi for the night his women were killed.
I don't suppose you'll tell me where he claims to have been on those dates?
That information is classified.
I see. Lieutenant, do you assume whoever killed those other victims murdered Mr. Stacy as well?
Well, the Adams girl said that he wrote that to me for the news column, so he's a Mary too. It fits.
But suppose Mr. Stacy was killed for another reason. If I can prove someone other than Ryan had a motive to murder him, wouldn't that let Ryan off the hook? I mean, the only reason you have to suspect my boyfriend is if he could have showed up here right after the murder.
Is there something you know? Withholding evidence is a serious charge.
I haven't been. I didn't realize until a little while ago that I saw something tonight that could lead the killer's identity.
What?
Remember when we stopped to eat at the Chat and Chew diner?
Yes.
Well, it was really crowded, and we had to find a seat wherever we could. I sat at a table with Mr. Stacy.
Go on.
He was working on his column, and he had a folder of letters out open in front of him. Letters apparently from readers asking for advice. He kept looking at one dated last June. It seemed to bother him.
Last June?
Yes. I wondered at the time why he looked at one 7 months old. I mean, I assumed his column answered recent letters, people whose problems needed solving immediately.
That makes sense. Did you read the letter?
No. Well, I glanced at it. I saw the signature. It was from a woman named Mary. Call it instinct or woman's intuition or whatever you'd like, Lieutenant. But I have a feeling that Mr. Stacy's murder has something to do with that letter.
It sounds pretty far-fetched to me. But if it'll relieve your mind about your boyfriend, I'll take a look at it. Where is it?
That's the thing. When I realized what I had seen, I looked at Mr. Stacy's room for his briefcase. It's not there.
Where did you see it last?
In here. His papers were on this table, right after someone grabbed me and strangled him to death. I haven't seen them since.
Do you think the killer took them?
Or hid them. He may not have wanted the chance someone seeing him take the briefcase away.
They'd be hidden in this room.
That's what I was thinking. That's why I asked you to come here. I figured we could find it.
It's worth a shot. I'll start with the bookcase.
I'll look over here. Lieutenant, do they know what makes a killer do what he does? I mean, how can someone live a normal life for 20 years or more and then suddenly become a mass murderer?
The doctors say such a man has never led a normal life. The tendencies to kill are there all along. Our consultants say that unstable personality can be pushed over the edge by a particular event. Sounds like a lot of psychopathy, but that's what the shrinks found on the witness stand.
But that hasn't stopped the juries from putting these maniacs behind bars, has it?
No. Once we catch them, it's locked up like animals in a cage.
Good, because that's what they are. Lieutenant, I found it. I'll show you the letter I was talking about. Here it is. I'll read it. Dear Mary, I need your help desperately. I don't know who to turn to. I saw your column in the newspaper and thought maybe another Mary can help me. My name is Mary too. That's why I'm writing. Mary, I've become terrified of my husband. His behaviors have become completely erratic. He accuses me of being unfaithful to him, but I swear I haven't. It's all in his mind. He's become cruel, even vicious, and his rage is frightening me. I'm afraid for my life. Don't tell me to report him to the police. I can't. There's a good chance they would believe him and not me because he's a policeman. Signed, Mary.
You're all alike. You Marys are all alike. I would have finished you off after I killed Mr. Stacy. Then Mary told my wife to leave me if that actress Mary, quite contrary, had interrupted me. Another Mary! I'm gonna kill her too, but you're next. And now that boyfriend of yours has showed up, I can pin your death on him, as well as all the other Marys I've sent to their graves. Say goodbye, Mary Bishop. It's your turn to die.
Oh, no, it isn't.
What the? Stay away from me.
Stay where you are. Fidelity under arrest. You were right. Lieutenant is the Mary murderer. Sorry. All I needed was the proof, which I've got now, thanks to you. Sorry I didn't make my move sooner, but I had to hear him say he killed the other Marys, as well as Mr. Stacy. That's all right. I knew you wouldn't let him hurt me. I'll take this and borrow his handcuffs. It's all right. It's all right. It's all right. Oh. No one has been shot. For which I'm grateful to the old craftsman who made the suit of armor. They couldn't know it would need to stop bullets someday.
I'm confused. For once, you're not the only one.
Kindly tell us what is going on, Miss Adams.
It's Yarborough. Hallie Yarborough, her mother. I'm the sergeant with Brooklyn Police Department.
Hallie Yarborough? I taught you when attended St. Helens. I thought you looked familiar.
Indeed you did, sister. Miss Evans. You were a great teacher. I was afraid you'd recognize me and blow my cover.
What?
Let me put the cuffs on our killer here, and I'll explain everything. Dr. Lewis, Torch, will you give me a hand here?
Wait, back up. Killer?
Yes. Lieutenant McDougal is the Mary murderer. When you're done, why don't you put him over there on the chair? He's fine. Except when comes to, I imagine he'll have a foam on his head the size of a goose egg. I hit him with a broadsword when he started shooting at me.
He shot at you?
Yes, when you tried to stop him from strangling me. It's all right. I was bait in the trap that Sergeant Yarborough set for the killer. He walked right into it.
Here, Mary, sit down.
Why don't all of you find a seat?
Miss Yarborough, is Lieutenant McDougal actually a policeman?
Oh, yes. Well, who knows? Perhaps the violent streak inside led him to a profession where he could be in contact with his own kind. But I'll leave that up to the psychologist to debate. At any rate, several months ago, he began to reveal his darker side to his wife, Mary. In desperation, she wrote a letter. She wrote this letter to the Just Ask Mary columnist at the New York Times. As we all learned tonight, the Mary who wrote the column was none other than Mr. Stacy. Did you know all along? Is that why you came on the bus? No. Lieutenant McDougal suspected that he might have murdered his wife, which, in fact, he did when she followed Mr. Stacy's advice and tried to leave him. Crime statistics show that a murder victim's spouse is often the one who killed him or her. Anyway, Chief Davis had his suspicions, but no proof. The chief also noticed that when the other Marys began to be murdered, it was always on the nights Lieutenant McDougal was off duty.
It must have been easy for Moore's victims to be someplace secluded. One would with no doubt for the safety of policeman.
Exactly. Finally, Chief Davis, who has the Manhattan Division, contacted my chief in Brooklyn. He asked that a policewoman from our district, whom McDougal wouldn't know, go undercover as a woman named Mary. She was to find a way to meet him and see if he would make an attempt on her life. My chief chose me for the job.
It's like the cops made a mousetrap, and you were the big cheese.
In a manner of speaking, we were about to put the plan into motion when Chief Davis called yesterday morning and told me they found out McDougal had bought a bus ticket to Buffalo. He was afraid they suspected they were onto him and was about to flee to Canada. I managed to get on the same bus to keep an eye on him. When I talked to Mr. Stacy earlier, he seemed nervous, afraid even. It sounds as if when Lieutenant McDougal introduced himself tonight, Stacy's suspicions might have been aroused.
Especially when that poor waitress was murdered. Rest her soul.
Mr. Stacy kept the letter. Wouldn't a handwriting expert be able to tell that Mrs. McDougal wrote it?
Undoubtedly, they will.
I wonder why she didn't turn over the police months ago.
Well, he couldn't know for sure that the Mary who wrote the letter was the one found murdered shortly after he answered it in his column. Even if the police discovered it was McDougal's wife, that wouldn't prove that he killed her, only that she was afraid of him.
When Mr. Stacy and I were talking on the bus this afternoon, he told me he wanted to write a book someday. And then I asked if there would be a market for me when they made the film version. He said he didn't know, that it was a nonfiction work, and that it had to reach conclusion in real life.
The Mary murderer story. He kept the letter in case his suspicions were correct, that the writer was the killer's first victim.
I'd say that's a good theory. He also saved some newspaper clippings about Mary McDougal's murder. I found it among his papers.
So how did my Mary get involved with this?
Well, I hadn't counted on there being another Mary on the bus, but there was. I tried to attract McDougal's interest, but when he seemed to be drawn to your Mary, I asked her to help. I'm sorry I had to expose you to possible dangers, Mary, but without you, we might never have caught him.
We did, and that's the main thing.
I owe you an apology as well, Miss Evans.
Me?
Yes, ma'am. It was I who threw the switch on the circuit breaker, so I could slip in here in the dark and examine Stacy's papers. When I discovered he brought Mary McDougal's letters with him, I devised a way to confront McDougal with it through Mary Bishop. When you and Mr. Stacy came in, I hid there until he left. And then I'm afraid I gave you quite the scare. You fainted before I could take you into my confidence.
I forgive you, dear. It happened for a good cause.
Hallie and I worked up a story that we would tell Lieutenant McDougal that I saw the letter in Mr. Stacy's folder. Then I found the briefcase where she had hidden it. When I read the letter out loud, he snapped.
It would have made Mary his next victim if you hadn't stopped him.
Part of him was able to function as a detective. He knew if he killed her, he could blame her murder on you, and perhaps the others as well.
He said so himself. Oh, Ryan, he could have shot you and claimed you were trying to escape.
Those two young people are sweet on each other.
Your powers of observation are amazing as always.
Reverend Mother, I am so sorry to have brought this trouble into your convent.
It's Providence which brought you here. What is important is you have apprehended that poor, disturbed man. As I always say, the Lord works in mysterious ways.
Amen.
If I could get my keys back from the lieutenant, I can drive him to Buffalo and bring the police a daybreak.
Okay,
He's got my keys too.
And mine.
I'll get them. He won't be going anywhere except for a police car. I found it. Now, which key belongs to you?
I'll kill you!
Now you got two goose eggs.
Sergeant Yarborough? No harm done. He just caught me by surprise.
When they film this, it's going to have to be a mini-series.
Men, let's take Lieutenant McDougal to the dining room, and if he tries anything else, I'll sit on him again. And I'll give him a spiky hairstyle. For you.
They're just gonna have to shoot around me tomorrow.
My goodness. What?
Anyways, I won't sleep a wink until this is finished. Can I heat up some of that coffee that was left?
Help yourself, dear.
Oh, Mary, you were the perfect heroine. I'll play you, of course. Although, Sergeant Yarborough might be considered the lead.
Miss Kincaid, if you play either of those parts, who will play you?
You're right. Who can play me but me? I know. They're gonna have to use special effects, and I'll play all of the women here today. I'm brilliant!
She's gonna play me? You'll have to let us get a TV for that, Reverend Mother. I can't wait to see myself in a size 5 habit.
We'll see, Mary Thomas. Right now, I think we should thank the Lord that the merry murderers will finally cease. If you'll excuse us.
May I?
I'd like that. You know, we have a large order here and not one Mary Apollonia.
It's something to think about. Hold on a second. What are you doing, sister? I just remembered where I hid your Christmas presents. Just a moment.
Pot holders. What a surprise.
You don't need those now, Mary Agatha.
Oh, yes, I do.
For what?
Knee pads for praying. Now that you two lovebirds have made up, I'm sure you'd like to be alone. I'm gonna get out of this outfit, check on my prisoner, and I'll take your statement officially later, Mary. Thank you, Hallie. No, thank you for everything. If you should ever decide you'd like a career in crime detection, the police force could use a woman like you.
That's an idea. What do you think, Ryan?
I'm out of here.
Well,
I think that whatever career you choose is fine with me, as long as you consider one in particular for a while,
what's that?
being a wife.
Ryan!
Look, I was going to give this to you for Christmas, but when I thought what could have happened if McDougal had caught you alone, here, Mary.
A ring!
The first moment that I met you, I knew that you were the girl that I wanted to marry. I took a job as a night watchman at a factory several nights a week on the midnight shift. That's the secret I've been keeping from you. I saved up the money and bought an engagement ring. Say you'll marry me, Mary.
Oh, Miss Ryan, yes!
I won't tell you how much I paid for it, but I've not let it out of my sight since I bought it.
Oh, Ryan,
What happened?
just a guess, but I think Sergeant Yarbo's trying to give us a little privacy. Either that, or the Lord is working in mysterious ways.